Hey, this is Tony Soprano, and you're listening to Jersey Boyz Podcast with your hosts, Dave Sturchio and the Ernst boys. I mean, I could give a shit about the Cowboys. We're in New Jersey. These guys got balls being Cowboys fans in Jersey. Anyways, enjoy. Or whatever.
How about this, Cowboys?
What's going on, Cowboys Nation? It is your boys, Dave Sturchio, and of course, nationally known comedian Bret Ernst for another episode of the Jersey Boyz Podcast. Still waiting on the Grinch. We may or may not see or hear from Keith Ernst today, but he wasn't very contributing to the group chat on Sunday night into Monday morning because the phone went under the old couch, and we talked to him around halftime and shit. But what a crazy turn of event. First of all, Bret, have you ever had a game in your day? And I say back in your day, back in my day, same thing, same generation of football, old school football. You ever have a game delayed because of lightning?
Not that I remember, man.
I
remember. Not that long either, man. And I was timed. It actually timed out perfect because I had a show that night. So I went to the Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club early to watch the game. And it kept getting delayed. And then I'm like, God, fuck. So when they finally kicked off, it timed out perfect that the minute I hit the stage was right before the half. So I got off. I didn't miss a lot of the game, which I was happy with. Then it was just awesome, man. What an awesome game.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was bleak for a little while. It obviously got it started off. Look, we knew going in that Pittsburgh's offense wasn't like world beaters of America here, but we did know that their defense was very good. And you know what? We're getting joined by none other than Keith Ernst. Hold on, we're gonna bring him in real quick, just because I got to update this little layout ski here. But the game itself was pretty intense from right off the jump street. And I can't get him on there. Now, why can't I do that?
Well, wait, we should when he comes in, we should be like trashing him so we can get the Grinch.
It's too late now. The Grinch is in the building.
And my brother has no idea what he's talking about. I mean,
as far as what
Oh, wait, never mind.
Oh, you're muted, Keith. Your mic is not working. Uh-oh. There's some technical difficulties on it. He was about to come and drop a zinger on your ass, and we get to it. It's so good. Well,
we poke the Grinch. We get the Grinch poke.
While he works that out, it's still not it's not going through here. But check your mic settings on whatever computer you're using or whatever. But I mean, look, it was bleak at first. We knew the Steelers weren't coming in there with this world-beating offense. But they were capable of doing things like running the football against our run defense that hasn't been good. We held the Giants to 1 yard a carry. We get it, but it wasn't Singletary. It was Najee Harris coming in. We knew Jalen Warren was out. We knew Cordarrelle Patterson was out. So we had a little bit of a leg up there. But yeah, I mean, from start to finish, there was a lot of mistakes. Obviously, we can go over all that with the Cowboys, but in the end, clearly, we all saw what happened. Dak Prescott, our $60 million a year quarterback, decided to drive us down the field, throw a game-winning touchdown pass with 20 seconds left. But a lot's got to be said about the game first.
Here's the thing, okay? When you score touchdown, when you do a game-winning drive like that, right, then all the bad passes are out the window. And that's what makes an elite quarterback. Now, I'm not saying Dak's there, but you're going to throw 2 interceptions, have a fumble, and then next thing you know, lead a game-winning drive like that. That just erases all the bad plays, man. And all the great quarterbacks make mistakes. I mean, look at Brady against the Falcons. You know what I mean? But you get that game-winning drive, and that's what the best quarterbacks do. And look, if Dak would have blown that drive, then yeah, we'd be talking different. But he didn't. And that to me is a good sign. And also, I know you say our run defense played pretty solid, man. I think Najee only had
Oh, no. Going in, I was just saying that going into the game, our run defense was just, it was touted to not be as good. And then we held the Giants to a low amount. But I also knew Najee Harris, the old Najee Harris at least, was going to pose a little bit more of a threat than what the Giants had to offer. But he didn't. We did keep him in check, which was rather nice. And not to mention, Keith mentioned it last week, was the the ability for Justin Fields to just take off and run. And there were a couple designed runs for Justin Fields, and it just wasn't getting going for them. And it's kind of crazy that the defense stepped up, considering the fact that we had no Micah Parsons and no DeMarcus Lawrence, no Deron Bland, right? So we're working on backup defensive ends and backup cornerbacks and all this other shit. But here the Cowboys are and they showed some like resiliency, and that was a nice thing to see.
Well, listen, man, that's what happens when your stars aren't in. The younger guys that, look, you don't know what you have until these types of situations. And sometimes what's good is that when you're lacking that talent, or you think you're lacking that talent, you rely more on the coaching and you get back to basics, and it sometimes works in your favor. And, look, our guys kept containment. He had a good game, I thought. Golston played pretty well. They were keeping containment. Our linebackers were flying. Overshown played phenomenal. Thank God we got him on the field. And what you're seeing now, what I'm hoping you're seeing, is that the coaching will make up more for, okay, look, guys, we know Mike is so talented. Let him just do this, and we could stunt more. No, we pulled back a little. Got the pressure on Fields, which, I think what we have 2 sacks or no, we have 2 sacks.
Oh, Keith,
3 sacks.
This thing links 3 sacks. Keith,
we had 3 sacks.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
There you go. Now we got
you hear music. Is there music in the background?
Yeah, but you
can barely hear it.
You barely hear it in the background.
Yeah.
Partying over there, Keith?
Actually,
There's work.
I'm at work. Yeah, I'm at Lionsgate right now. Tyrese Gibson's throwing a party.
Oh, we
right next door.
hungry. We hungry.
Yeah. And anyways, bro, did you get my text?
I got the name.
Yeah, do you know who that is?
No, I probably do. Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, I know who that is.
Anyway, so yeah, dude. I meant look. I said what I said was we'd win by 3, 16-13, 2017. But I'm not going to be there and take credit, say, I said they won by 3. That game very easily could have been a blowout. We could have blew them. That is not the way I thought it was going to go. I thought we'd punt more. I thought, their defense would have been, I did say our defense would have a good game, which they did. They lived up to that. But I didn't expect the offense to play so well, but then turn the ball over like they did, if that makes sense. So
yeah, I mean, just like every other game that we've watched this season so far, Keith, it seems like they've gotten into the range, they've gotten into the red zone, and they just can't capitalize. And normally it would turn into a field goal. If you were to tell me that the Dallas Cowboys turned the ball over twice in the red zone and had a blocked field goal, I would have said there's no shot that the Cowboys were in this game. And
absolutely.
We referenced in the text, or I think even last week, or maybe it was in the text, the Romo game against Buffalo, where the game we turned the ball over 5 times and won the game. Yeah. So it was very reminiscent of that. But this kind of game right here, and look, are the Cowboys world beaters after this game? No, but they may have established a couple things. And one, I'll start with this. We, all of us collectively, or at least me and Brett for the most part, have been clamoring for Ezekiel Elliott to get more carries, right? But it seems to me that as the weeks go by, Rico Dowdle is officially our RB1. Can we agree with that?
There's no commission. And I knew that was the case when we got on the goal line and he came in. That I think solidified that he's our number 1 back. And look, he played good, man. Rico played great.
It's his career high best day in multiple categories.
Can I say something?
Sure.
If Dak never jumped on that fumble, this conversation right now would be, why don't they have Zeke in on the goal line?
You're absolutely right. There's no doubts in my mind that we would have been having that same conversation.
Yeah, but that was a strong defensive play. That was timed out perfectly, man.
That was Troy Polamalu-esque, like Ed Reed-esque. Yeah. Just the perfect time to just slam your whole body into the line like that. That was insane.
And now that you're saying this,
timed perfectly.
Yeah, I would say right now, and I'm just going to do it anyways. I don't care. I'm going to just come out and say it. That's who I give my game ball to. And I know it sounds crazy. I give it to Dak Prescott. And the reason I do is, I'm just saying a lot of people are knocking the – that's why I'm giving it to him, because he messed up so much, and to persevere like he did and to drive us down the field in 15 plays like he did Because, you know, that's one of the hardest things, I think. I don't know. I'm not a quarterback, but you hear other quarterbacks say, you got to have short-term memory because that's so hard. That's why you see so many quarterbacks that can't make it in the league. They start out bad, and then they just suck the rest of the game. They think, oh, this is over. So Dak did not do this. And I give him the game ball on mostly because he jumped on that fumble.
Well, yeah. I mean,
That
look,
was huge.
And what we saw early was a miscommunication between Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, which turned out to be saying jump ball for I got you instead of this, other shit, the other rhetoric that people were trying to do or say. So look, is it alarming that the two of them aren't on the same page yet 5 weeks into the season? A little bit. I think it's a little alarming. I'm not saying like, oh shit, are they ever going to get on the same page? CeeDee Lamb is, to me, is a top 3 wide receiver in football. So when you have a top 5 and a top 3, they're gonna do okay. They will be okay. Did I see that there was some inconsistencies in their, chemistry? Yeah, a little bit. But again, it didn't cost us in the long run. And I said this online. I said, look, you could say all you want about the stats and the touchdowns and the picks and all this other shit, but Dak Prescott is the guy that's worried about one stat at the end of the day, and that was a win. They got the win, and that's exactly what you needed to do.
But you also got to look at it this way, man, is that first of all, kudos to the Steelers grounds crew, man, because that field did not play a difference.
Well, apparently they resod it like 3 times a year with like some kind of golf shit where it's like it's got sand underneath it so it can absorb more and it won't be a fucking shit show.
Dude, I've been on that field too, man. And when it rained, I went to the Pitt game years ago and it rained and we were running around on it. But I'm saying that I felt was going to affect the game a little, but the field itself was great. But what also Dak did, which is very important, is used Ferguson. When you're looking at the ball distribution between the tight end, Ferguson, Tolbert, Lamb. Ferguson. Even what's his name, Spanford, man. He came out and got 2 big receptions for 20 yards. He spread the ball around, and that's what we got to do.
Lepke as well, big time.
Dude, I love Lepke, bro.
I do too.
Love that.
I'm really starting to like this kid. His versatility is really starting to show its real colors 5 weeks into the season. I think Lepke is going to be a good player this year overall. And this is why. And now, where's the continuity? When do you we talked about it last week going into this game, but when's the right time to bring up a Dalvin Cook, right? So if Zeke is hurt, which a lot of people have kind of inched it, or at least hinted that he's banged up, and we all saw it. Me and my father saw it. We're watching the pregame, and these guys are trying to warm up and just stay loose in the locker room. And he goes to put his shoulder pads back on, and he stops and he winces and he grabs his shoulder. And my dad's like, "Please tell me he didn't just hurt his shoulder putting his shoulder pads on." I said, "No, I think there's something wrong. I think he's actually hurt." So if that's the case, then yeah, Dalvin Cook is a great change of pace back that you could bring onto the squad. But I mean, to your point, Brett, the ball distribution was great. I'll throw this question to both of you guys. Keith, let's start with you. Do you think that in this game alone, Jalen Tolbert established himself as a solid wide receiver too?
See, this is my issue that I have is just let's be patient. Let's all be patient. I mean, you guys the last couple of weeks were talking about we got to get Amari Cooper, we got to get this person. Let's roll with the players we have. Let's see. Let's not give up on them so fast. Okay? What we saw is him getting more responsibility, him knowing he had to step up, which he did. So, yeah, is he? I can't say if he is or not yet. But what I'm saying, let's just wait and see. Let's wait and see. And we're only in week 5 now. And the way I look at it, our offense has been playing, and I've been saying this, I think they've been playing well all season. They haven't been exceptional, but they've been playing well all season, which gets me to the defense. So here's what I want to say about the defense. I mean, that performance, the total yards that Pittsburgh had was, 230 yards? That's it?
Yeah, that's supposed to be an NFL team. Yeah, that's right.
I'm not even saying, dude, Pittsburgh's offense had more than that when they went against Denver's defense in Denver. And Denver's defense is one of the best in the league. So what they did at Pittsburgh, at home, without their two best players, supposedly, is remarkable. And that's what I like. I like the young, hungry guys. I love it. That listen to direction. You know, it's funny because I'm going to bring up John G. Avildsen, who was the director of Rocky, the first Rocky.
Sure.
And
Rocky 5 and Karate Kid.
And a Karate Kid.
But
wait. Time out. You just gave the guy credit for Rocky, Karate Kid, and then you threw in a Rocky 5 in there?
Well, there's a reason I am. There's a reason.
Okay, because we all know that Rocky 5 is the worst Rocky of all time.
It is. Okay.
So
John G. Avildsen, he directed Rocky 5. And he brought up Sylvester Stallone. I listened to the commentary in the first Rocky. And he said Sylvester Stallone in the first Rocky was out there early, was listening to direction. He was still young. He was still hungry. He said he was easy to direct. He listened. But then he brought up Rocky 5, how Stallone was a veteran. He's been around for a while, and he couldn't connect with him. Stallone wanted to do his own thing. He wasn't listening. That's what I'm trying to say. When you bring young guys in, they're listening to the coach. They want to prove themselves as far as saying, oh, I got this far on my own, Micah Parsons, which I'm not saying he's doing that. But, you know, instead of doing this stunt, I'm going to go this way or I'm going to do that. It's like, so that's why I was bringing up Rocky 5, so you know. Otherwise, I would not bring it up.
Very, very good comparison. Good
when
analogy.
you were off, that's kind of what I said. I said, what's great about the younger guys coming in is now you're relying more on coaching, right? You're not saying, hey, we got this super talented edge rusher, which, by the way, I still think that if we could have Overshown and Micah at our outside linebackers, and then bring in, I know Nealon's hurt now. I don't know if they gave the time frame, but I'm assuming it's going to be about 5 to 6 weeks, right?
I think there's a shot that D-Law and Nealon come back around the same time in about 6 weeks. So it's going to be
if you get Golston and you know, some of the younger guys some reps and some burns.
We played great. We
played phenomenal. And so did Malik, man. Right?
Yeah. Wait, which Malik are you talking about?
I'm talking about what's not
That's
come on,
Hooker
lineman.
Fine played.
No, Malik Hooker played good, but I'm talking about the D lineman. What's his name?
A Sturch. What remember the one that we released? He had to serve a 1-game suspension. But I think Muhammad was his name or something.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I'm talking about? Where's that guy?
I don't know. I'm not.
Because he had a motor on him in preseason, man.
I remember that. Yeah. No, there's a lot of guys a lot of pet cats that got out the way and got out the door, and we never saw them again. You know, I'm still bitter about losing. Who's that fucking D tackle? The big white dude went to Washington and then got released. Ridgeway. That is him.
Oh, not Malik Hooker. Mozzie Smith. That's
Mozzie. Okay, yeah, Mozzie.
Yeah,
Mozzie played good. Mozzie's penetration, moving that line. Hendrick played great.
Did you see
Laufo?
The play of the day? The play of the day was by Linville Joseph.
Yes.
He pushed an entire offensive line back into the backfield to stop a run. I was like, dude,
no, that was better than that, Sturch. That was when he hit Fields for the fumble.
Right. That's what I'm saying. He brings it all, but the whole line stripped back.
Can I bring something up now that you're bringing that up?
Sure.
And this is my biggest pet peeve, and you guys, please try to guess what I'm going to say with Mike McCarthy. Right now, what have I been complaining about since year one that he doesn't know how to do?
Take time out.
Challenge a spot.
Challenge.
It was the worst challenge in the history of challenges.
Sturch, he doesn't challenge that spot, but he challenges the fumble.
Fucking guy, bro.
What the hell was that?
I have no idea, man.
But he does that all the time. He's always good for that during the season a couple times.
Well, I like I always say, like, if you lose a challenge, you lose the challenge, and you also lose the timeout. So sometimes I'm just like, well, McCarthy was not going to use the timeout anyway, so you might as well use it on a challenge because shit, you're not going to get it right, but you're at least going to stop the clock. I don't know the MO there, but I will say, like, the defense, like I said, like you guys have been saying, played really, really well, really sound. Look, Pittsburgh, their offense there's a lot to be left to be desired. Like, they're not the greatest offense in the league, but you know, you can't take away what the team was able to do on a national stage after a rain delay, after all this other shit, right? You got to be prepared. That game didn't get over to 1 a.m. on the East Coast, man. It was a rough one to stay up and watch.
Well, you know how I said, and again, it's now we're going into week 6, so we don't really. Go ahead, Keith. We're going into week 6. And I said, we battled the Giants. It was battle of the mids, even though I felt we were a little better team. I think Pittsburgh on paper is a little better team than we were, but we're still comparable, right?
Yeah.
And with our injuries, everything going in and going to Pittsburgh, that was not an easy game to win. And again, look, the other thing we got to really talk about is 11 fucking penalties for 87 yards, bro. That's bad. That's
coaching.
And a lot of it was stupid. Like Hoffman comes in right out the gate. Not only does he negate a gain, but let me ask you this question, because I know how big you are at BB at center. Mm-hmm. What if we might have to move him? Which I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind seeing him play in his natural position just to see how he plays.
I think what you saw, and this might be the hot take, and I know there's a lot of people also saying this. I think the hot take right now is that the offensive line, and I said this to my dad, I was like, they played better when Guyton was out, right? And of course, we all love Guyton. We love the pick. He's offensive lineman. He's going to be great, and we all know he's going to be good. But when they kicked out Tyler Smith to left tackle and they brought in TJ Bass to play left guard, TJ Bass and Cooper Beebe, along with Zach Martin, that was a strong interior.
Well, the other
Zach
thing
Zach Martin went down with a cramp. He came back in, but that TJ Bass looks like he can push some people around, man.
Buddy, let me tell you something. And I agree. I love Guyton. That kid's been asked to do a lot as a rookie.
Absolutely.
And almost every game, the guy in front of him's been better than him. And he's been trying and he's been doing really well. But I do think that what we saw with Bassin, BB, Martin, Steele at the other end, Smith at the I think that might be the move. I mean, look, we can always rotate.
That might be the move this week against Detroit, to be honest with you, because I don't know.
It has to be.
Ready to go.
Guyton, to me, that kid has done exceptional for what he's been asked to do. But we're asking him to do a lot.
Yeah, and that's what. And also, when you ask a guy to do a lot, that puts a lot of pressure on the kid. And what pressure turns into when you're an offensive lineman is you got handsy, and there's a lot of holding penalties on Guyton already, right? And
look who he's been going up against every fucking week.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I think that he's got the who's who coming right over the top of him, and I'm just like, okay, man, just do the best you can. You know what I mean? But there was a couple clean pockets for Dak Prescott to lace it down the seam, right down the middle of the field. There was a huge one towards the end of the game where, dude, the pocket was like, I was like, this is like chef's kiss. I was like, I can't believe, like, TJ Bass picked up one guy and then double teamed another. And I was just like, dude, that is exactly what you want out of your interior line. And then, oh, by the way, all Dak had to do was step back, step up, boom, right down the seam. He didn't have to worry about anybody coming down there on the outsides. So credit to Steele as well. So Steele had himself a decent day as well.
And Pittsburgh's D-line is no joke, man.
No, TJ Watt's the fucking all-time sack leader for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like,
isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. When you think about the Steelers lineage, it is kind of nuts.
Or what's crazy is we could have had him instead of Taco Charlton.
Don't get me started. This has been a good vibe show. We've been in good
you know mood. What? You know what, dude? What's crazy is that, but doesn't it feel like just a couple years ago we drafted Taco Charlton?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like that long ago. And
no, that's why when they put that stat on the screen that TJ is the Steelers' all-time leading sack leader, I was like, how? I thought he's only been in the league like 3 years.
I know.
Well, dude, he got averaged like 20 sacks a year and shit. So,
you know what? Did you see that?
Think about that, bro. Over Joe Green, over.
I know. Well, they didn't. Remember, they didn't do sacks though. They didn't do sacks back then in the 70s.
Yeah, but they went back and counted them.
Well, I don't know because Deacon Jones would be the leader. He's not the leader anymore. I mean, he's still not the leader. Deacon Jones destroyed everyone.
What about guys like Greg Lloyd and Kevin Green? I know they were linebackers, but I'm sure they rushed the quarterback.
So no, I was going to say, did you see that stat that's going out? It's like it's been circulating, and I've gotten to it with a couple people where Dak is the first quarterback. Did you see this?
To throw a touchdown on 2 different days.
Yeah,
same
2
game.
consecutive days. But they're crazy. Because they're forgetting Monday Night Football. Like, was at 9 o'clock forever. Like, whoever wrote that that's not true.
So you're thinking there's more quarterbacks that threw touchdown passes on
Absolutely.
Tuesday?
You know how many games went over midnight on Monday Night Football? Dak is not the first to do it. The whole thing is you got a younger generation that doesn't realize because it's 24 years ago.
They wouldn't have put that out there not knowing that kind of shit.
You want to make a bet? I'll bet you.
I'll have to make a bet because they're
okay. I bet you. What do you want to bet?
I don't know, but what I'm saying is I would have
What's
to.
a good bet for you to lose to?
Listen, I would have to assume that even when the game started at 9 o'clock, that they would get over at like 11:50 or some shit.
So you're telling me for 30 years?
I'm just telling you
that there was no delays, that there was no overtime. You want to know something, Sturch? I'm not gonna let you search.
I'm not. I have nothing to search. I'm good.
Okay, I already know what happened. I already know what happened.
What happened?
It was the Jets versus Miami, and I believe it was 2002 or 3, where the Jets came back. They were down 34-3 or something, and they came back, went to overtime. The game ended at 1:03 in the morning, and Vinny Testaverde won the game by throwing a touchdown pass in overtime.
Are you sure that
he threw one earlier? He threw like 2 earlier.
All right. So listen, maybe then you know what?
There's no maybe. No, there's no maybe.
Okay, well, I would say we got to.
I will say this though. I will say this, Sturchie. I will say this. He's in a what's it they call? He's in a group in a remote group or what do we want to say? There's very few quarterbacks that have done it, but he's not the only one. That's what I'll say.
Well, I know there was a couple analysts out there that also said that he's the first quarterback in NFL history to throw a pick on 2 consecutive days as well.
I don't know.
I was like, all right, son of a bitch. I literally said, and I replied to the guy's tweet. It's like one of the NFL analysts. I was like, okay, and he also threw a touchdown in 2 days. You fucking asshole. Let's relax with the hate.
Look, getting back to that though, watching that team play. I mean, look, we definitely need this bye coming up in 2 weeks, but I'm really optimistic, man. The way they played as a unit, they played phenomenal, I think. And yeah, you're gonna have those. Like I said, if Rico fumbles and we lose the game, it's a different conversation. If Dak doesn't get us down into the end zone, it's a different conversation. But that didn't happen, and you erase mistakes by winning. And all the great quarterbacks, all the legendary quarterbacks had some fucked up games, and then they end up coming to win. That's when it counts. That's what makes an elite quarterback different than a guy that's just great on fantasy.
I got a question for you.
Agree.
I got a question for you, and all that is true, 100% true. Did you guys have any on that last pass? What was the first thing that went through your head as it left his hands? Do you have an idea? Because I know exactly the thought that I had, and wasn't if he was going to catch it or not.
I'll be honest with you. When it got to 4th down, I thought we were going to lose.
So did I.
I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a drop pass or the deflected down or something. Someone puts a hand on the ball. I did not expect us to win.
The last ball that he skipped in the end zone, I was like, oh god. I was like, what are you going to drop? And then the Steelers, this is a discredit to Tomlin because, and again, Tomlin's a great coach. We've all talked about how Tomlin's a good coach. Him burning that timeout gave McCarthy one more look at the defense that was about to set, and then they burned their last timeout, giving them none for that last 20 seconds or whatever. But the one thing that went through my head when that ball left Dak Prescott's hands was, I don't care who that receiver is he in the end zone? Because it seemed short. I was like, oh my God. I was like, he's going to catch that fucking ball on the 1, and I'm going to lose my fucking mind. And sure as shit, Jalen Tolbert ran a cross route, which is this is a Brandon Cook special. He ran the cross route. He avoided a linebacker, came back to the 1, went back into the end zone and scored. So he literally ran parallel to the end zone, came back onto the 1, and then went back. And that's kind of shit that never goes our way. Never goes our way. I thought we were going to win on the 3rd down.
And then when he underthrew the pass, I was like, fuck. Now, when we got to the goal line, because Dak was just a fucking pubic hair away of getting in, I'm like, just pound it 4 times. Pound it 4 times. Get deep in there. Just push the line and get in there. Then when he fumbled, I'm like, fuck, now we're back more. So now you're like, okay, what do you call? Do you do play action? Do you keep running the ball? Then when he missed that pass, I was like, oh, God. But I'll be honest with you. I saw the way when he unleashed it, I just saw the confidence in it that I'm like, that's in. And then when Jalen, I thought he was going to drop it, but I thought he had the receiver. I was like, we won. Right when I'm like,
Keith, you're the historian, man. Besides a game-winning field goal, which we've seen from either Greg Zuerlein or all these other, when is the last time the Cowboys caught a big game-winning touchdown? I remember one.
Keith gets this question. I couldn't even remember Mike Mozzie Smith's name.
I'll name 2 and see if you can name other ones because I had to think about this. There was one that me and my brother were at in Dallas against the Giants. Jason Witten caught a game-winning touchdown with like nothing on the clock.
With Romo,
and then I believe what
from Romo, right? Sunday night.
Yeah,
I remember one.
Yes. And not only
Dak against the Giants. Dak threw that game-winning drive. Remember when we beat the Giants?
That was Cole Beasley. That was a 1 knee equals 2 feet. All right, so maybe it has happened more frequently, but I feel like on the road in these conditions, I just felt like we haven't been on the good side of something like this in a long time.
No, we haven't. But I want to say, I agree. Like when we went back to the Dak, when he got down to the goal line, we had 3 downs left. I was all for, and I would have been the first person on here that would have said, I don't know why Zeke wasn't in there for that. Because I would run Zeke 3 fucking times.
Time the guy.
You're on the half-yard line 3 times, even Dak rushing once. I meant, why risk anything? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I would have ran. I just would have ran it down their fucking throats.
Well, I also was yelling, bring Lepke in, but then I remember, didn't he fumble against Miami trying to go into the end zone?
You know, it's funny. I told my dad that it was Lepke who fumbled, and I was made correct because I actually watched the game back because these are the games I'll watch back. You know, by the way, like when they lose, I'm like, I ain't watching none of this shit again.
You missed Sturch's point earlier, and I agreed with him about the offensive line. Now, I was saying that I love what Guyton's been able to do. I mean, we've asked him to do a lot as a rookie, and he's been playing the best he can. But having Bass out there with Zach Martin and Connor Beebe at center, Cooper, it just seemed like a better offensive line. I mean, even with the pocket protection that, I'm thinking maybe because having Tyler Smith at the other tackle and then putting Steele out there, it just seemed like our offensive line was moving, was pushing theirs and moving and protected.
You know what makes me think our offensive line is like we even have good backups is I see like Connor McGovern. I've seen all these other offensive linemen that are young that we release.
Yeah.
Like we're like, bye, see you later. We don't want you. And these guys are starting another team. So that must show you that we have some good linemen. So by the way, I want to go back to your question. What I'm thinking for the one that popped to my head, I didn't get to say it, the touchdown, but I don't know if it's a goal line one or not, but it was the walk-off CeeDee Lamb overtime against the Patriots.
Oh, yeah, that was recently. Shit. That was 2 years ago.
I would say that might be the most recent, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's still not the same on the goal line. Maybe it is. I don't know.
But, all right. Maybe I'll rephrase the question because I don't know if those other plays, like those plays might have happened with time left or whatever, X amount of time. Has there ever been a 4th and goal game on the line? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like.
You know what game stands on my mind? The fucking dude. 2013, was it? The Washington game? Well, no, the Washington game where Romo was we drove all the way down. We're in RFK or wherever. That's when he hurt his back. Remember, he couldn't play against the Eagles the next week.
Right.
And asshole went in there, the quarterback Kyle Orton. He played against the Eagles on Philly because Romo got hurt in that Washington game where he drove down the field with a broken back and hit DeMarco Murray for a touchdown with no time left. It was awesome. It was Christmas time, too. I was so happy.
I do remember that.
And then he breaks his back.
I'm grown men that their lives determined on based off the Cowboys winning or losing. And that's the truth. But listen, great game, resilience, all that shit. They gave the game ball to Big Mike, even though, again, we can't make a challenge for shit. But listen, big one. So now 3-2. You know, we watched what the Redskins did. They won again. They look good again. The Giants won a game they probably weren't supposed to win, but they took care of business. They got better. Eagles were mute and they didn't play. But now the Eagles get pretty much another bye because they're playing Cleveland. I would love nothing more than Cleveland just to shock the world and beat the Eagles, but I just don't see it. So now, in come the Detroit Lions. Now, the last time we played the Lions, we had the whole eligible, non-eligible, tackle eligible, all that bullshit that went down with the drama that was with that game. Now they're coming in, I say, a little better as far as the offense is concerned. Jared Goff's playing well. Montgomery and Gibbs are a great combo pack. They have a phenomenal running game. Amon-Ra St. Brown, fucking Laporta at tight end. They're loaded. So, Keith, do you think there's at least a shot or a shred of hope on our defense to what we just did against Pittsburgh, knowing that they're two different caliber offenses? Can our defense kind of show up again?
I think that this is another huge test for the defense. They're both of their Gibbs and Montgomery. They're running the rock, bro. They're running really well. They're running awesome, actually, every time. So that's what scares me. Considering that we're 0-2 at home.
Crazy.
We haven't won at home. I mean, hopefully that gives them some fire. I don't know if it does, but, to give your fans, something to cheer about this time. When we were ran out of the building twice already with the running game.
Think about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 3 times. You're right. You bring up Green Bay as well in the playoffs. So, hopefully that helps. But, yes, this is a very dangerous offense. I was looking at them, and they pretty much, they're the only game they kind of struggled was against Tampa in Detroit. Which they lost. So they're vulnerable. You can get to them. You know what I mean? I do think that us being underdogs helps. We're 3.5-point underdogs at home.
Are we really?
Yeah.
I didn't even look at that. Holy shit.
Yeah. So I think that helps. That's going to add some fire. I think people are, once again, I like being underestimated. I love how on Sunday Night Football, everybody picked us to lose except the chick. Whatever her name
fucking was. Jason Garrett did too, man. I was
like, it's fine. But I get it, bro. I get it. I mean, I'm not mad. I like that. Like, this is good. This is what we want. Right. So I do believe that, yes, but I think that this offense is probably the best offense next to Baltimore, maybe that we faced. Obviously, we see the Saints. We had a bad game plan against them. Their offense isn't shit, hasn't done anything since they put up whatever they put up on us.
And they might be without Carr for a little while too.
Yeah, so they're kind of a fraud. So I meant the best offense we've faced has been Baltimore's, but I think Detroit's is up there with them. Baltimore might be a little better, but it's close, so we'll see.
Bret, when you look at what the Dallas Cowboys were able to do with their, on offense, is that the recipe? There was a heavy dose of run against the Steelers. And again, we saw the weather and all this other shit, but they finally, I think it was almost even, if I'm not mistaken, 31-31 pass and rush. So they ran 62 plays, but that's where McCarthy said his sweet spot is, and that's what he wants. Is that the MO? Is that the recipe to get this? We did accept the coin toss. We took the ball, and I understand that, nothing big happened out of that, but do you need to get up on Detroit? Is that the team? Is that the recipe for this one?
I mean, you just got to play smart. I don't know about who's going to get up on what. I mean, it's going to be a 4-quarter fight if we do it right. Detroit's a damn good team. They have one of the best run defenses in the NFL. So, I still like those underneath patterns, those outs, especially if we can get Dak protected. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to say, but what I do like is the fact that our back is against the wall as far as injuries go. So when you see that, now the coaching really has to be on point.
Right.
And he said, get these younger guys in there that want to learn, want to listen, and are still trying to prove themselves. I think personally this is all going to be on McCarthy and what's his name, the D coordinator.
Mike Zimmer.
And Zimmer. So depending on the game plan when they come in, I like what we did against Pittsburgh. I like the game plan there. And Detroit has a better defense, definitely a better offense. It's going to be tough. I think it's going to go 4 quarters. I know we're not getting into predictions yet, but if we get out of this with a win, well, I think we'll be lucky.
Yeah, I mean, the whole 0-2 at home thing really got me kind of like, okay, this is 1,000% different than what we dealt with last year, right? Like, we couldn't be beat at home. Yeah, so it was a weird.
We were. We ended up losing when it mattered, and I don't play into that shit, man. That's that's all. This right now is obviously a test. If we can get Detroit could come in and we get a win and we get a bye and assess.
That's another thing. Detroit's coming off a bye, so
the other thing too is really New Orleans ran us out, and I forgot who brought it up. I think it was my brother. This is a new defense. They still got to get settled in. Then we played against Baltimore. They jumped up big, but then we showed some guts. We almost came back and won, right? Then we beat the Giants. Now we beat Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was undefeated, 2 weeks ago. So it's not like we're beating ham and eggers. Giants are a way better team than everybody thought they were. When you're in week 6, now you're starting to see what you got. People are settled in. Now, obviously, we got injuries. So I think we stick to the same game plan against Pittsburgh, man. Just grind it out. I'm not a big fan of unless they're blowing coverage and you're going deep. Just keep it simple. Short routes, underneath, out. Run some whatchamacallit, play action. I also like that we were motioning a lot. I'm not a big fan of these wide receiver end arounds that they're handing off because I don't think none of them worked. But keep the defense on its toes. Move the chains. That was my problem. I know everybody thought that our offense was playing good. We weren't moving the chains. We kept going 15 yards and then kicking field goals. We were moving the chains against Pittsburgh. We 3 drives, not counting the 2 interceptions. I mean, we turned the ball over. We should have gotten at least 10 more points, let's just say. So keep the mistakes minimal. Fucking no stupid penalties. And play a little not too conservative, but not over the top. I think we can win this game.
I think it's finally time to also put a little bit more TLC, tender love and care on Cavante Turpin. I think the kid is actually coming into his own a little bit, and I was his biggest critic for a while. I said, dude, it's a one-trick pony who can return kicks. That's great. No, but he's actually turned into a pretty serviceable wide receiver. And the report today came out that the Cowboys were working out Denzel Mims, former second-round pick of the New York Jets. So he's in the building today to see, or this, whenever he was there today. So we'll see if they bring him onto the practice squad at all. Again, former second-round pick. So we'll see. He spent the summer in Carolina this year working with guys like fucking Bryce Young and our beloved friend Andy Dalton. So I think that there could be something there. The play of Lepke, it's just been something that we've just been really harping on, that they have to get the guy involved more, and they have. So going into the Lions, I guess we could jump in the predictions here. Keith, how do you feel this one's playing out? Again, like you said, I'll paint the picture. The Cowboys are 0-2 at home. They're coming off 2 straight wins. The last time they were home, we got ran out of our own field. How does this one play out to you?
So I look at the Detroit, and they haven't. I guess they beat Seattle at home. I think it was Seattle. No, they were at home. Detroit was at home. That was almost. I think that was a 10-point win, but it was a lot closer than it looked. They're not blowing teams out, and I don't think I think I see it a close game. And I like our defense, man. I like what I saw last week. I think they're getting better. I like that we have some no names, some people that were still learning their names, some that defensive back I still can't pronounce. It starts with an O, who had another good game. Sturch, that's on you. You got to figure that out first, please.
I don't have to, because Deron Bland is back at practice this week, so hopefully we get him back for this game.
Oh, that'd be great.
A lot easier.
But yeah. So and look, I know our offense can move the ball. I know Brett's talking about Detroit's run defense. Our offense can move the ball. They moved it against some good defenses. Pittsburgh's defense, New York's defense has really kept them in games, guys. And we kind of moved the ball.
And they're just doing that with their front four, the Giants.
Exactly. So I meant even in Baltimore, and even New Orleans, like I said, we've been moving the ball, maybe not scoring touchdowns, but I'm not worried about us scoring. I think if we could keep Detroit under 20, I think we win. So I'm going to say, I'll say we win 24, actually 23-19.
23-19, 4-point win, and a complete cover, obviously, because we are the dogs. Brett, how do you see this playing out?
I mean, what I really think.
He's going to say 23-19. Does that sound right?
Here's what I'm afraid of. I'll tell you what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that we're going to see the same shit that happened in New Orleans, where their offense just starts picking us apart and we don't have an answer. That's my fear. On paper, I still can't see us getting a win, man. And if we do, I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't know, man. I can't see us winning this. I'll say we'll keep it close, but maybe losing by like 6 points.
Okay.
I know it's depressing, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But we don't know what we're dealing with here. It's a way different offense than Pittsburgh's, and like I said, they have a good run defense, but their defense isn't really that great. So if we're playing smart, if we can go tit for tat with them, we keep it. I think it might be a high scoring game. To be honest with you, I don't think it's going to be low scoring.
Okay.
I hope I'm wrong, man.
All right. Well, I had something cooking for a little while, and I think this is one of those games where, we're like, remember that time when we blew the fucking doors off Detroit in Week 6? Because I think the Cowboys are finally gonna, I think the Cowboys right now are playing their best football, and that's not saying much because again they're 3-2, and they came off the road win against the Giants, the road win against the Steelers, the battle back inches away loss to the Ravens. I say this is the game, even off a bye that the Lions are coming off of, and they had an extra week to prep for the Cowboys. I get all that. I say this is the highest scoring offensive game for the Cowboys that they have all year. With that said, I think that the Lions will probably score 24, but I got the Cowboys scoring about 35, 38. So I think we handle the Detroit Lions this week. And again, I'll have egg on my face next week. That's totally fine. I'm totally cool with that. But I really, really think that the Cowboys offense is finally going to get faster at home, jump up on them at home. CeeDee Lamb, who have not look, he's had some games, obviously, but he's going to have another game. Now that you have to kind of give a little respect to a Jalen Tolbert, I'm not saying that, you got to put bump and run coverage on the outside, but you got to give him a little respect. If you put CeeDee Lamb in the slot, he will eat you up. If you try to zero blitz Dak, he will eat you up. Dak Prescott is now the kind of guy that said when they lost to the Ravens, that the quote is, if you want to jump off, go ahead. Please jump off. I think Dak Prescott last week got a whole shit ton more confidence in this offense. The offensive line, even without Guyton, should hold up. Obviously, we got to deal with Aiden Hutchinson and those guys rushing the quarterback. I feel like every week we got to deal with some kind of fucking all-pro defensive end of some variation. But I got the Cowboys winning and winning soundly with a couple garbage touchdowns at the end.
Is Micah going to play?
Micah is iffy, but again, if you told me, like, gun to my head, when do you want Micah back and when do you need Micah back? It's against Brock Purdy and the 49ers after the bye. Like that's the game I want him back.
Man, you guys, you might have thought I sent a White Claw text the other night, but it wasn't a White Claw text.
Oh, with the trade, Micah? I know.
Hey, man.
Listen, I understand the logic behind getting a guy in value, but you have to also come to terms with reality that the Cowboys won't even trade for a fucking wide receiver, let alone trade their best fucking defensive end. It's not going to happen.
I think, hey, all I'm saying is look what that defense did.
You're right, and against Pittsburgh, though. So that's why I say pump the brake. If they come out there and play good, sound defense without Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence against the Detroit Lions, that's a whole nother conversation to have.
So here's my thing, okay? This is what I'll say. The reason I'm so high on this right now is literally, I'm not even kidding you, 3 of the worst defensive performances I've ever seen by a Dallas Cowboy defense has been our last 3 games at home. And when you have a Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence starting, and if our defense is that great, if they're that awesome and they're that anchor, that shouldn't happen 3 fucking games in a row. Okay? That's all. That's all I'm saying. And like I said, when I'm watching Micah, he's a freak athlete. Okay? I know he
also might march to the beat of his own drum.
So I don't know. What I'm saying is it worth it, what we're going to have to pay him if we could get right now, say 2 first-round draft picks or something?
Now,
I get it. It's a nice hypothetical.
To my brother's point, though, which I'm not on board for that. I don't know. But our defense has enough talent that is set up for guys like Micah to shine, right? Not to be a problem, not to lose containment. Not to get, there's enough talent on our defense, especially with our secondary. Now, granted, we got hurt, but it's not like he's the only defensive player that they got and the rest of the team is trash. We've got some talent on that team. We've got Overshown, you got D-Law, we have a lot of talent, and instead of he should be shining more. It should be more like, when LT had Harry Carson and the rest of that defense that they can run wild. And we're not seeing that. Now, again, we also had it second game of the season, third game of the season, right? This is 6. That was 3 weeks ago.
Right.
So, we saw it against Cleveland, which wasn't saying much, even though they picked because we didn't know how bad Cleveland is.
Right.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that you're right. We did. We saw it against New Orleans and we saw it against Baltimore. But you're forgetting one thing, the last game of the year. We saw it against Green Bay.
Yeah. But I'm saying
most humiliating loss in the history of the Dallas Cowboys at home on playoffs.
If this defense shits the bed and there's no Micah out there and there's no D-Law, then this is a mute. But if this defense locks them down, we really got to reassess where. Well, first of all, is Micah in the right position? Because to me, to get Overshown and Micah Parsons as our outside linebackers, and we got young guys that can contain the edge, and we're getting pressure up front, why the fuck wouldn't we go with that?
Yeah.
Are you nuts? That would be insane.
But listen, guys, I got to go.
All right. Love
Later,
you, man.
dudes.
Yep. Thanks.
So I told Jamal, I said, what's up? Oh, never mind. He left. That type of personnel change. And I also, again, this is what I was not hoping would happen with injuries, but what we did with our O-line, I think we really need to reassess that. And if we can get Bass out there, Zach and BB in that inner 3 that are moving lines, moving defensive linemen, I think that should be our go. And keep those 3 in, keep Smith at the end, Steele at the other end. God forbid somebody goes down. Guyton, let that kid take a fucking break, man.
Yeah.
To put all that on that kid's a rookie.
Like I just said,
rookie, and that kid is.
So is Cooper Beasley, and he's only let up a couple pressures.
Yeah, but there's a difference between being a center.
That's true.
And then being a tackle lining up against 3 of the best pass rushers in the NFL.
Every week he's had a fucking all-pro line up across from him. It feels like it was Myles Garrett, and then it was it was the Saints. So that was still Cam Jordan was over there, and then you got fucking the Ravens, who has a great defensive line, and then it's always been somebody. So,
dude, this kid, I don't really think people understand how much he stepped up.
Of course,
and I think we knew that going in. I would love to see where this offense is with that interior, because when they came in, bro, they were moving that line. I mean, and Hoffman had one stupid fucking penalty, and I don't know what that kid was thinking.
He's a fucking goon. He's a goon. He's our hired goon. All he wants to do is fight. Hey, sort of guy. Every time he's in.
Hey, listen, I love the fire, but and I'm not gonna lie, I was an emotional and stupid player as well. So but I never did anything that cost us. I would do some dumb shit every now and then.
I remember when I was like 11 years old. I was playing rec league basketball, and I got a foul called on me, and I spiked the ball in front of the referee, and I yelled "fuck" as an 11-year-old, right? And my father was in the crowd, and dude, let me tell you something. never did it again. So
Yeah.
it's like, you just have these lessons and these things that my dad listening right now, he's like, I don't remember that, but like I know for a fact those things scar you for life. But look,
again, I think we're either going to pull this out or I really hope I'm wrong. I mean, I might just be projecting fear.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look what happened the last 2-3 times that we've been at home. So like the thing is,
I'm not worried about at home. It's the type of offense we're facing that worries me. Right.
Yeah. Because the Giants and the Steelers are definitely less than.
Right. We're facing one of the top 5 offenses in the NFL right now.
So yeah.
And defensively, like I said, we can move the chains. We got to play smart. We can't turn the ball over. I agree with you. I think there's going to be the most points our offense is going to put up. And our defense, this is the check. Now, if we hold them, we really got to start assessing where we're putting Micah and what we're doing with this talent. Because again, sometimes when you have a generational player, as Micah has been perceived to be, who's an amazing talent, right? Sometimes that can inhibit you if they're doing what they want to do, or you think they can do more than they really can do.
Right.
And that's where the coaching comes in. So I don't want to beat a dead horse, but
listen, I think the one expectation or the one hope that I have for this game is that it is a game, because the last 2 times we've been at home, they haven't been games, right?
Look,
and you see what happens with Dak, coming back against the Ravens, which is all fine and dandy until it's not, right? This one, I want them to jump out to a lead, and I want them to look like a cohesive, functioning fucking offense against a decent defense. And then I want the defense to come out there and get some stops. Let's see that fucking Lion punter once in a while. You know what I mean? Like, let's see that shit. Let's not give up scores every drive.
Well, we did that, but we're not facing Pittsburgh or New York or Cleveland.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
And now at the same time, look, the offense, I know they've been playing well, but it was still a concern for me. Now let's just look at the first drive against Pittsburgh. We get a first down and then we're out. But we got 15 yards, 20 yards. So we're kicking field goals now because we've got this amazing fucking kicker.
Yeah.
But that's not an offense. We're putting points on the board. Now, what we were doing, driving down the field, but then, before we turned it over, we drove down on them 3 fucking times. That's what you want to see. So we know that if our offense can move those chains, keep our defense off the field, because that's going to be really fucking important. Because the last thing we want is Detroit to be scoring quick like the Saints did, jumping ahead, and now all of a sudden we got to fucking we got to fight. We're playing catch up from the first 3 minutes of the game.
This team can't do that. We've seen that. We can't do that. So it's going to play out how it plays out. And
they have a running back committee too, don't they?
Yeah, they got Gibbs and Montgomery, and they're great. They're both really good. Gibbs is a change of pace back. He's actually faster than Montgomery. So there's a lot of speed there. We'll see how they wrap it up. I mean, look, we have tape on them. It's not like we just played them last year. So we do have tape on a lot of the similar players. Different.
And they're going to be, and they still got that in their head that they were robbed, which they weren't.
Of course. Yeah. And
we were not fucking robbed.
Broadcast is going to bring it up and all this other shit. I get it, bro. It's going to be Brady again.
It was still the dumbest call. If the ref, I tried to explain, I saw something on this today. I'm like, bro, he may have called it. The referee said he was ineligible. They announced it over the fucking loudspeaker. If Dallas would have known they were eligible, covered them. It's just that simple. So don't play stupid games by having 3 people run over to him and then confuse the ref. When they heard the ref say he's eligible and he's eligible, they announce it, which we heard. Just play fucking. I'm not going to tell Detroit what to do, but they're coming in with that. Oh, that we got robbed last time. No, the fuck you didn't.
Of course, and the leader of that, and the leader of that, we got screwed last time. Crew is going to be fucking Dan Campbell. Like, I get it. And how many times? Listen, how many fourth down? That's another thing that might change this game around. Detroit is going to be those 4th and 1, 4th and 2, go for it kind of guys. If we can get 1 or 2 of those stops, dude, and get the ball at midfield or some shit, that's another game changer. So we'll see how bold he is against the Cowboys this week. It's going to be.
This is really I mean, again, we are crescendoing, and you guys made fun of it. But Jerry Jones listens to this podcast.
Yes, he does listen to the podcast. According to sources, we can't disclose our sources, but we can say that Jerry
tweeted crescendo.
He did put out on Instagram one of his quotes. He used the word crescendo, and you know what? Nobody else does except us. So that just
Except
I
me.
know, except you. Really, it's not. I can't make.
And then he. I don't know if you saw the other one. He made an inappropriate mom joke.
Yeah.
So he definitely listens to the show.
Them Jersey boys, they know what they're doing over there. All right, listen, it's
You gotta go.
it's the end of the podcast. The Cowboys heading into a big game against Detroit. Let's see if they get it done. I heard Jimmy Johnson has something to say real quick before we get out of here.
How about them Cowboys?
Thank you to Coach Johnson for that drop. And yeah, go Cowboys. We will see you guys next week for Dave Sturchio and Bret Ernst. And of course, the Grinch, Keith Ernst. See you guys next time.
Hey, this is Tony Soprano, and you're listening to Jersey Boyz Podcast with your hosts, Dave Sturchio and the Ernst Boys. I mean, I could give a shit about the Cowboys. We're in New Jersey. These guys got balls being Cowboys fans in Jersey. Anyways, enjoy. Or whatever.
How about them Cowboys?